The Dylan Larkin situation is becoming progressively more interesting. This entire segment here was actually initially supposed to be part of an entirely different video I was in the middle of writing. I was putting together an every captain in the NHL ranked into a tier list video, but as I got the ball rolling talking about Dylan Larkin, in that video, I realized that all of these thoughts deserve their own video, so here it is. For those that don't know the basic details of the situation, Dylan Larkin, a Michigan native, was drafted by his hometown team, the Detroit Red Wings, 15th overall in the 2014 NHL entry draft. And since then, Larkin has played his entire 11-year career in Detroit to this point and has served as the team's captain for the last 6 years. But seemingly out of nowhere, on June 4th of this year, it was reported that he had requested a trade out of Detroit. The caveat is, Larkin has a full no-trade clause for the next 2 years, meaning he cannot be traded to any team in the league unless he himself approves the move. As part of the trade request, Larkin gave then Red Wings general manager Steve Yzerman a list of only 3 teams he'd be willing to move to. That list has since been upped to a whopping 4 teams. By now, Larkin may be finding out that not all trade requests are created equally. Not every guy gets moved immediately after requesting the trade, and they don't always get to go exactly where they want to go. And his trade request is really only hurting himself. There are reports right now that, big surprise, there is no imminent trade involving Dylan Larkin, and a deal will most likely not get done before the start of the 2026-27 season. Oh man. Larkin's first mistake was only giving a 3-team and, as of now, 4-team trade list. This can work if the player has leverage, but Larkin has none. He's not a superstar caliber player that has teams salivating over the thought of his availability. He's a good player, but these teams, the 4 teams being Minnesota, Dallas, Florida, and Vegas, have no reason to bend on any trade negotiations. Everyone is fully aware of the situation, and again, he's not a McDavid, McKinnon caliber player, so these teams aren't going to help out Detroit in this scenario, move mountains, and give up quality assets to bring in another $9 million player. These 4 teams have already maxed out their cap space. They can't fit Dylan Larkin, even if they wanted him. Larkin's next mistake was believing that the Red Wings are now in a situation where they have to trade him. The Red Wings have absolutely no reason to rush this move. In fact, they don't even have a GM right now. First off, as I previously mentioned, the only 4 teams Larkin is willing to move to can't fit him, and they likely wouldn't give up quality assets even if they did, given the situation. Second, Larkin isn't a pending UFA. Detroit has no fear of losing him for nothing. His current deal doesn't expire until the summer of 2031. Lastly, his deal wasn't fully front-loaded like a lot of contracts we're seeing nowadays. He's still on the books to receive $8 million in base salary this upcoming season. If Larkin doesn't play this season, he forfeits that $8 million, and he has $38.6 million total remaining on that deal. If Larkin elects to sit out and not play this season, Detroit can suspend him. They don't have to pay him, and his $8.7 million cap hit is off the books until he returns. So, Larkin already isn't getting what he wants. He wasn't traded. If he doesn't play, he forfeits $8 million, and if he does play, he's most likely stripped of the captaincy, has to face all of those teammates he attempted to bail on, and has to play in front of over 19,000 of Detroit's own booing fans, tormenting him every time he touches the puck. That's not to mention the media circus that would be surrounding him from training camp to the very end of the season. Larkin and the Red Wings have found themselves in a very interesting and very rare scenario, and with still no general manager in place in Detroit as of now, it doesn't seem like an issue that'll be resolved in the near future. I certainly don't blame Steve Yzerman for leaving his position as GM of this team. There are other reports out there that Red Wings owner Chris Ilitch has been interjecting himself into major offseason decisions recently, taking authority and control out of the hands of Steve Yzerman. The first instance being 2 years ago. Yzerman was attempting to bring in a familiar face in free agency in Steven Stamkos to Detroit before Ilitch shut it down, and Stammer signed in Nashville instead. Even more recently, Yzerman attempted to bring in another familiar face back home to Detroit in Anthony Mantha, which Ilitch also nixed. Chris Ilitch is the man in charge. He's going to be the one selecting Yzerman's replacement, and it sounds like he's been pulling the strings for some time now. So if any Wings fans were hoping for some change for the better, now that the Yzer plan is out, I wouldn't get my hopes up. As for Larkin, if he doesn't expand that trade list, it's going to be a very long year for him and a very fun year for the rest of us hockey fans. Thank you all for watching, and take care.